All right. Hey guys, it's Phil Morrison. It's actually the first time I've ever done a YouTube live stream on my phone. So apologies if I make any mistakes with clicking the wrong things. So basically, I thought I would share how I helped a guy out with social anxiety in a taster session earlier today. So this particular guy is a member of one of my meetup groups in Birmingham, which is focused on helping people with social anxiety get more confident. And this particular guy, his goal is to get more confident in the area of relationships and find a nice girlfriend. That's basically his goal. So he booked a taster session today. And first he went for a coffee so we could break the ice, get to know each other, and I could help him to focus himself in the right way for the rest of the session. And he was telling me about his background, and it was interesting. So he told me that he moved to the UK just a couple of years ago from India, and he actually moved during the lockdown to work as an accountant in Birmingham. And he said that because he moved during the COVID times, he literally had to go and live in a hotel in a room by himself, completely isolated, and work remotely for an entire year. And after this, things got a bit better. It went to hybrid working, and he said that he would spend a couple of days a week in the office and the rest of the time working remotely. And he was telling me that this period of isolation really reduced his social confidence, and he lost that momentum. And momentum is super important, and social isolation is the root cause of social anxiety, where you're closed up and closed off to other people because you're afraid either of being hurt, having your self-image crushed, whatever it is. When you start to go out to more socials on a regular basis and get that momentum behind you, it becomes easier and easier and easier. And that's basically why this guy joined meetup.com, so he could go to different socials and start to get out of his comfort zone and meet new people, especially since he moved here by himself from India. So he was basically starting from scratch. So I really related to this guy because when I was in my teenage years, I went through quite a long period of social isolation, which did me no favors whatsoever. And it gave me a mountain to climb when I started university at the age of 18. So I chatted to this guy on this topic for a little while. And then he was talking about one of his big challenges, which is managing stress at work. So he said that he started going to these meetups, but then it sort of slipped off a little bit because he found his job stressful, working long hours, and he was feeling really, really drained. And I talked about a guy that I used to follow many years ago on YouTube. I was a big, big fan of this guy called Tyler from a company called RSD. And I remembered a video that he made on this topic of stress. And he was talking about different causes of fatigue and burning out. And a massive cause of fatigue and burning out is decision-making fatigue, which is where in your mind, you're constantly asking the question, should I do this? Should I not do this? Maybe I could do this. Maybe I could do that. And your mind just goes on and on and on, and it just drains the life out of you. In the same way, self-judgment fatigue is massive, where you're attacking yourself and making a mistake. This really fatigues you as well and causes you to feel burnt out. And I was telling the guy that it's really the place you're in. And if you can do things from a different place, you'll be a lot less stressed out. Because I built this business, this coaching business, this confidence coaching business, at the same time as doing a full-time PhD. So I related to working long hours and trying to get the balance right between being productive and not burning out. And every single time you're taking action, it moves you forward in life. But there's also a tax associated with it, a stress tax. And if you're taking loads of action, left, right, and center, this stress can build up to a level where you're going to burn out if you don't take a break. And that's why it's important to learn to manage your stress and anxiety and do things from a nice, calm place and take quality rest so you keep recharging your batteries, and do things in a way which are less draining and where you're not having to make too many decisions all the time, where you're not judging yourself so much, you're not putting on a fake persona, these kind of things. And after we chatted about this and we got to the purpose of the session itself. So he said that he spent all his life really up until this point being career focused, studying super hard, and he hadn't really focused on the social area of his life that much at all, especially his dating relationship life. So he was starting from scratch in this area. So of course I understood that he's going to be nervous and probably have some limiting beliefs in this area, because if you've never had experience in this area, the mind is going to create all kinds of limiting beliefs, and fear is going to play a key part in this. And he was telling me that he's aware of CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy, and he's tried that since moving to the UK. And basically, this is where a therapist tries to retrieve some proof from your life that you can achieve something which you want to achieve, to basically counteract limiting beliefs and fears. So, for example, if someone believed that they couldn't get a job, they thought it was not possible for them since they recently became unemployed, someone that's trained in CBT might say to them, well, you've had a job in the past, so you succeeded with this same goal in the past. Therefore, of course, you can succeed with the goal a second time since you've already done it once. In other words, using concrete, undeniable proof to shatter that limiting belief. And in the same way, I explained to him that my coaching is CBT. But in certain areas of life, there's times where you actually don't already have the proof, and you need to go out there and take action from the right place in a smart way to get that proof to shatter the limiting beliefs. So in this guy's case, if you've never initiated a conversation with a girl before, where's the proof that you can go out there and meet someone nice? And of course, a friend could look at you objectively and say, of course you can do this, but you need to believe it for yourself. And we all have that vicious inner bully, the inner critic, inner demons that say that you can't do something. They'll tell you that you're not good enough, it's impossible for you, you're not clever enough, you're not good looking enough, people will think you're weird. Basically, fear will build this narrative that you can't do something. And the really, really scary thing is that if someone doesn't get proof that they can do something, there's just no proof there. An individual could buy into this narrative as fact rather than see it as a story. So my goal is to get people the proof that they can do something so they have true confidence. And then even though the inner demon's still there, even though it's still going to say you can't achieve a certain goal, whether it's getting a job that you really want to get, building a business, getting a nice girlfriend, whatever the goal is, you know that the voice, the inner demon, is basically lying because you've done that thing in the past, you've already achieved it, and you've got the proof. So we had a chat about this, and then we went out there to start the session, and I wanted him to face his fear of starting a conversation with a girl that he liked. And I basically broke down the whole process for him into a series of milestones. Milestones from being where he's at to having a nice girlfriend, bit by bit. And that was the goal for the taster session. And I could see that this guy was understandably nervous, as everyone would be in a situation which is new to them. And in order to help him out, I did several demonstrations. So I gave a number of girls a compliment, just so that he could see what would happen. And he was like, okay, it doesn't look so bad. I could see he was seeing that it's not quite as scary as he'd built up in his own mind, which is so often the case. And then he said he was afraid of not knowing what to say next. And if I could demonstrate, give it a compliment, and then following up with some statements or questions to get a conversation going. So I did this, and I told him that there's always a fallback. And the truth is that the best conversations would be truly organic, authentic, and improvised. So you see a girl that you like and you tell her that you like her. She responds back, and naturally, organically, a conversation happens. And as my improv comedy teacher would say, you bring one idea to the conversation, which is your brick. Then the other individual brings their idea, which is their brick. And you keep on going until you build a cathedral. So it's just bit by bit, and it naturally floats. But sometimes when you're in a new situation, you need a fallback. And it's always good to have a go-to in case you have nothing to say. So I told him that if you give a girl a compliment, when she responds, there's always going to be an accent there. In this case, she's either going to be from Birmingham or not from Birmingham, meaning that there's information there that you can build on to start a conversation. So if she is from Birmingham, this guy could say, oh, cool, you're from Birmingham. I actually moved here a few years ago from India, so I'm still getting used to the city. And you can have a nice chat about the fact that he could have a nice chat about the fact that he's from a different place to her. And this is a really nice conversation. On the flip side, if she's not from Birmingham, he could try to guess where she's from and then ask her what brought her to Birmingham, etc. And you've got a conversation there. So if nothing else, when you give a compliment, there's always going to be an accent thrown back at you, which can lead to a conversation. So after doing several demonstrations, I took him to a nice public square where I knew that there was probably going to be a nice girl just sat down, passing time, which would be a good opportunity for him to face his fear of initiating a conversation. And this was the case. He saw a girl that caught his eye, and she had this really kind of standout jumper with horizontal stripes. And I could tell that he wanted to go over there. He wanted to go and approach, but I could see that he was frozen with fear. His whole body was completely frozen with fear, which is understandable and normal in this situation. And when you're faced with fear like this, it's almost like you're in a block of ice when you're frozen, and you have to chip away at that fear and defrost it so you can go over there and start a conversation. So I could see that the logical part of him, or his body, actually wanted to approach, but the fear was telling him not to approach. So I explained to him that the worst fear is this fear right now. It's the anticipation, the fear of what's going to happen. Hey, Tanvir. But basically, when you go over there, it's actually never that bad. It's so much worse in your head than when you're actually over there. So I basically told him that it's not going to be that bad. I also told him that the criteria for success is him facing his own fear. The worst case scenario is basically an ignore response. And if that happens, you can just say, no worries, have a nice day. Nothing bad happens. The criteria for success is for him to face his own fear, give out a compliment, even just utter some words. That's still facing the fear of initiation. So I spoke to him for a while, and in a way, I was sort of sparring with his own fears. And I spotted his foot edging forwards. And this is a really, really good sign. So something else that I learned from doing improv comedy is that your feet always know when you should go and do something. So, for example, there's various improv scenes and games where, as an improviser, you're required to go and join in and add your uniqueness when it feels appropriate. And how do you know when to join in? The answer is that your feet start to move forwards unconsciously. And when your feet start to move forwards, you know that it's your time to go. So I can see I've got one of my clients on, Tanvir. So I'm talking about a guy that I coached today. But actually, every single guy has the exact same response. It always takes a bit of time to compose yourself and face your fear of going and talking to a girl. But when you practiced over time, it gets easier and easier and easier. So what I saw is that this guy's feet were wanting to move forwards, right? They were edging forwards. So I knew that he wanted to approach, but it was just fear that was in the way. And after we continued the dialogue, I told him that if he just starts to walk forwards, he's already faced the fear. And from that point onwards, he's guaranteed to commit to going over there and starting a conversation. And he just went for it in that moment, gave a nice compliment, got a nice, friendly, warm response, which was good. And he came away, and I could visibly see that he was more confident. He was actually, probably unknowingly, he was speaking louder, so the volume of his voice had gone up. His body language was more confident as well. So he got the proof that when you go over there, it's not actually that bad. And then after he faced his fear, we sat down in the shade and had a nice, honest conversation. I told him what he can realistically expect. This is something which is new to him. It's going to be challenging. It's going to take time. But if you break it down into steps, if you can give a compliment today, maybe in a few weeks' time, you can have a 2-minute, 3-minute conversation. And before you know it, a 10-minute conversation. And when you can have a bunch of 10, 15-minute conversations and you're really honest and really genuine, you're super open, you're going to find someone that's single that you've got a nice connection with. And that's basically all a guy is looking for in this situation. He could understand the process, and he agreed to do more coaching with me starting next month to build on this skill set and take it further. So what really helped him is actually watching me demonstrate and seeing that it wasn't really that bad. So I was asking him, how did I manage to motivate you to go over there and approach? Because I'm always looking to get better as a coach. And even though I managed to get him to achieve his goal, I'm always trying to understand what I can do to keep providing value, get better at providing value. And he said that just watching me demonstrate and show him how I do it really gave him that energy and motivation to do it himself. And in the whole demonstrations, I was demonstrating from a place of honesty, and honesty to the point where I was telling the girls that I was doing a confidence coaching session and I'm demonstrating to help this guy out here. So I was being that honest, and the girls were super open because I was being completely open with them. And he kind of picked up on the energy and understood that, so it's meant to feel like this. And that's what helped him go over there and have a nice conversation. So, because I can see Tanvir is still there, and Tanvir will have had some similar experiences. So I wish I could invite people onto the live stream so they could speak out loud as well. So would you say that the worst fear is the anticipation of approaching? Maybe having coffee right now. Usually, the common theme is that the worst fear is the anticipation of what's going to happen. What if this happens? What if that happens? Yeah, so Tanvir is saying, the anticipation is the worst fear. And something else which has come to mind now. So basically, this guy was saying about the questions the guy was asking me today was where to go to meet girls, and he was asking me, how do I know when I should approach? Yeah, so the worst fear is all in your head. It's never real. 100% agree. And that's why I'm all about getting the honest proof, just to liberate you in maximum results. So the guy was saying about how do I know when to approach? And I said, well, the ideal situation is if you're getting eye contact and a nice smile, although that doesn't always happen. That's the ideal situation. And I actually brought up example of Tanvir, because I said that I was with a guy who I've coached in this same coffee shop, which is called The Exchange in Birmingham. And he had a situation where there was a girl by herself who looked really open and friendly, projecting positive vibes. And I suggested that this would be a good opportunity to approach, because it was basically that indicator that she was interested in having a conversation. That's like a green light. And that is the best case scenario. And it was a good conversation, wasn't it, Tanvir? But yeah, so the green lights are obviously the best conversations, but of course, you can't necessarily rely on having someone initiate eye contact with you and smile at you. Sometimes you have to be proactive, and 100%. Sometimes you have to be proactive, and this can also work. So I guess Tanvir is actually a great example, because what I can think of is two successful conversations which led to a phone number, two different ways. The first one was in a session with me in a coffee shop where a girl basically was making eye contact, and that was the intuition. That was completely intuitive. It just naturally evolved. And really, the success was Tanvir facing his fear of starting a conversation and committing to it. That's what led to a number and a potential mini golf date. Hopefully, that's going to happen this month. And then the other time Tanvir had success, I wasn't there. He was actually doing a session with one of my long-term clients who I get on with super well. really, really nice guy. And I'm not quite sure in that situation how Tanvir started the conversation, but my understanding is that he was walking around in public, saw a girl that really caught his eye, someone that was his type, and bravely approached. And in that context, it wasn't the girl making eye contact with him and smiling at him to begin with. It was him noticing someone that he liked and going over there and braving the approach. And people don't believe me when I tell them this because it sounds too simple. But the best way to get success with this when you're over there is to be vulnerable and honest. Just to lay your cards out on the table, be completely genuine, say exactly what's going on in your mind. Honesty is the answer. And the reason is that it builds so much trust. It forces you to be really, really open. A nice connection forms between you and the girl. And she can see that she can trust you because you're being genuine. And is there anything that you would like to add, Tanvir? I'm just going to make sure I can read that. I like it. I like that a lot. So what Tanvir said, this is an approach that where I actually wasn't there, and he said that more scared than usual because this really, really beautiful girl. I'm sure that many guys would be scared in that situation, and Tanvir was brave enough to say, "Do you know what? I'm intimidated by the fact that you're attractive," basically. And because that's so brave, and most people, let's face it, most people wouldn't have the bravery or bottle or courage to be that honest. They try and play it off as really cool and pretend that they're not scared. But Tanvir was that extra level of brave, super honest, and it led to a number. I think in that situation, it didn't quite lead to a date, but there was a few bit texting going on back and forth. Sometimes it pans out that way, and other times it pans out into a really nice date and then a relationship. So, of course, there's no 100%. But yeah, honesty really is the best way to get more confidence speaking to new people. And you have to go through that phase where you feel quite exposed, quite vulnerable. And that's really how the confidence develops, because in those moments, your brain's getting proof that you're safe in that environment. You can open up and be yourself. Yep. And like Tanvir said, you spoke to her over the phone, which is great, building a connection. And what I really liked about Tanvir's texting as well is that it's super congruent with his in-person interactions. So that even when I could see the text, I was like, if someone told me like who sent this text, I would have thought that's definitely a text from Tanvir. It just had that sort of character to it. So that is something which really helps. And a big problem that I've seen with lots of guys, and a problem that I used to make myself, is that my texting, it wasn't really congruent with my in-person interactions. It would come across a bit off, and I'd get lots of breakdowns in communication because the girls would meet me in person and think, this guy seems nice, would be cool to go for a coffee with him. Then she sees some of my texts and thinks, I'm not that sure, something's a bit off here. But when I really examined my texting and made sure that it was congruent with my in-person interactions, it was more honest, then suddenly the dates were coming through more and more frequently. And the simplest summary, which I could title this, is that honesty works. Definitely agree with this. And is there anything that you wanted to add to this live stream? Since you have experience, because really, what's useful for anyone viewing this video is an example of an actual client succeeding and their experience. Because there's a difference between someone being a coach and getting success, and then the clients of the coach getting success. So actually what Tanvir is saying is really where the most value is, because you know, you could be just like Tanvir out there. And I will also flag up the fact that no, I appreciate that, Tanvir, and I was gonna say that Tanvir is an incredibly passionate guy, and he has a massive passion for helping people correct their blurry vision. I would show one of your business cards, but I think it's in a drawer over there. But basically, so what Tanvir does is he does a correct version of this method that was originally invented by a guy called Dr. Bates, and Tanvir's changed it to make it really applicable, and he understands it obviously way better than me. But basically, what I know so far, because I'm helping Tanvir out and build his business and help other people with blurry vision, is that he's a genuine guy and he's helped people out for free. And even like one guy that he did a taster session with paid him to thank him, even though it was a free session, which shows that the guy got value from it. A few of the people that I also know from some of my meetups that have tried Tanvir's stuff after one of his events, they're reporting that they're seeing improvements as well. So it's pretty cool stuff. And I'm looking forward to watching Tanvir's stuff grow more and more and more. And actually, what he's reminded me is that what I think would help me out and help my client Tanvir out as well is if we do some interviews and with each other. We do some YouTube videos together, and basically in those YouTube videos, really we can cross promote. This is great from a business perspective. And basically, one thing with the YouTube, which is an interesting side for anyone watching this, is that because it's just you in front of a camera, obviously now I know there's at least one person watching, but because it's you in front of a camera as opposed to another person, it can come across really robotic. That's what I was like at the start. And basically, this is what I see. So when I'm thinking about Tanvir, when I'm speaking to Tanvir in person and hearing him talk about his eyesight stuff and his coaching, it's fantastic. It's like, even a guy with good vision, I kind of want to do it because it sounds so good. But then in the YouTube videos, he doesn't come across quite as confident as he does in person. Much better in real life, and it's the same for me. And when I started with the YouTube, I was really I was super robotic. And I probably deleted some of my early videos because there was just it just looked like I was just talking to a wall. That's really how it came across. But when you're speaking to someone in the flesh, your personality really comes out there, and it comes across so much better. So actually, 100% we'll do some videos together, and this is beneficial for everyone. And even the guy that I was with today, because I mentioned about Tanvir, meeting someone nice in a coffee shop in a session with me a while back, and the guy that I was with, and the guy that I was with actually had glasses. And I mentioned that Tanvir is interested in helping people improve their eyesight naturally through these different eye exercises and vision habits. And there was certainly a level of curiosity there as well. But yeah, there's so much value in having a dialogue, because this is the thing, right? Interesting point. So you do need to know who you're talking to when you're doing a YouTube video. That's totally true. And what I always picture is either a client that I've already coached, or I'm currently coaching, or a younger version of myself, because really coaching is a conversation. That's what coaching boils down to. And the dialogue between two people can be life-changing. It's all about shattering limiting beliefs and getting people true confidence that they can achieve a goal that they previously thought that they couldn't achieve. Because when you believe you can do something, you can actually do it. And when you don't believe you can do something, you can't do it. And I'm paraphrasing a quote from someone else, but this is completely true. The same thing with confidence. The same thing that didn't work without confidence can work with confidence. And confidence comes from practicing honesty and facing fears. So the hard thing with the YouTube for a lot of people starting out is basically how to come across that you're having a conversation when it's just you in front of the camera. And knowing who you're talking to when you're doing a YouTube video is part of this, because really, even though you're in front of a camera, in this case, in front of my phone, I know that the kind of people that I coach, the people that go to my events, so I'm imagining that I'm at an event, I'm talking to people that I actually know. And with time and practice, this allows me to come across better on social media. So there's not that incongruency. A bit like with in-person conversations and texting, there can be an incongruency there. And it's about having things match up. And actually, I had a session with my mentor on Wednesday. And he said that, one thing that I really need to start doing to increase things further is doing live streams. And that's why I agreed with him. I'd been so busy doing so much coaching, traveling to Manchester, Birmingham, London, doing so much stuff that I basically didn't have that much time. And I was struggling to achieve all these different things, spin all these different plates. But now I've got more organized. I'm going to start doing the live streams, hopefully, every working day of the week when I'm in Birmingham. And so if you're a guy that watches this video and there's something that you're struggling with, or a girl watching this video, anything you're struggling with regards to social anxiety, business, confidence, something that you're just having a challenge with, you've hit a sticking point, let me know. Send me an email, put a comment, and I can do a live stream focused on that, because I so much prefer doing videos that are focused on helping out real people rather than imagining problems that people have and doing a video based on that. So much more powerful when it's when I know that there's a real person out there that I'm able to help through a video. And also as well, I'll show my business card, which might be reversed because it's mirrored. Basically, I offer any person with good ethics a free 2-hour confidence coaching session, and we can focus on any area of life that you choose, whether it's relationships, social groups, business, lifestyle, or even something else. Even if you have a particular phobia and you want me to help you face that fear, I can help you out with that within reason. So basically, the idea of the taster is for you to understand how I can help you, and to really taste the value and start to see things from a different perspective. Changing the way that you think and view a situation changes how you act, and changing how you act changes your results. And because it's really the level of commitment is massively important when it comes to the level of results that you get in life. Nothing good in life comes easy. Hard work, consistency, showing up. And I think Tanveer is testament to that. Constantly grafting, grinding, putting work in. This is how you succeed. There's no easy, fast path, no shortcut. And also, other clients of mine would testify to this. So a long-term client who Tanveer knows, he's had to put a lot of hard work in to get to the level where he's at right now. But he's at a crazy good level where I've personally lost count of the number of dates he's been on, probably about 20, maybe 15 at worst. He's been on a lot of dates, and it's because he's got so much more confident, so much more belief in himself from the consistent action taken. So because it's getting quite late now. I'm going to finish up the live stream here, and it's the first time I've done a live stream on my phone, so I'm going to hopefully figure out how to upload this as a YouTube video as well. So I apologize if it doesn't get. All right. So yes. See you soon, Tanvir. I was gonna send you a text quite soon. I've got a few ideas to better monetize your business, and I've been brainstorming, thinking of stuff. I have a few cool ideas, and yeah, I'll cover that in a text that I'll send sometime in the next few weeks. Enjoy the rest of your day.